The Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation was founded on a promise made between two sisters, Susan G. Komen and Nancy Goodman Brinker. Susie was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 1978, a time when little was known about the disease and it was rarely discussed in public. Before she died at the age of 36, Susie asked her sister to do everything possible to bring an end to breast cancer. Nancy kept her promise by establishing the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation in 1982.
Dressed in pink, this crowd of ladies wants everyone to know one thing.
I am a survivor.
I'm a survivor for 9 years.
I'm a survivor of 16 years.
I'm a breast cancer survivor.
That there is life after breast cancer.
It's amazing to see everybody that comes out and supports us. And it's nice to know that we're all here for each other.
This celebration all because of the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the world's leader in the fight against breast cancer.
As of the end of next year, we will have invested $1 billion in this cause.
Nancy Brinker started the foundation 25 years ago after her sister died of breast cancer.
It still affects over 200,000 people a year in the United States. It's a huge disease.
A deadly disease that brings so many together.
Judith Coolidge, a wife, mother of 3 children, and an attorney, remembers the day she learned to do a breast exam.
In 1975, my father was a doctor in a small town, and my mother was his nurse, and she had to be out of town one day, and so he asked me to fill in for her. And he was doing an exam on a patient, and I watched him and learned how to do a breast exam myself.
That lesson may have been the single most valuable piece of information Judith ever learned.
Little did I know that 20 years later, I would detect my own breast cancer. And because I found my cancer, they were looking for my sister, and they found her cancer too. I was 37 years old, and I had 3 little kids, aged 5, 3, and 1-year-old. And if I hadn't applied what my father taught me, I wouldn't be here today.
Shoppers, it's time to shop a lot and then shop till you drop. It's the annual shopping event at Saks Fifth Avenue to support the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation. A percentage of sales goes to the mission to fight breast cancer.
Right now, a mammogram traditionally includes 4 images, 2 of each breast. With MRI, we look at over 2,000 images of the breast.
Although the test is exquisitely sensitive, it isn't recommended for everyone.
Right now, we recommend breast MRIs for women who have dense breasts, family history of breast cancer, positive gene history of breast cancer, BRCA, and also preoperatively.
Dr. Kathy Schilling is excited about PEM scans and what she believes is a breakthrough technology.
Oftentimes, if you don't do preoperative imaging such as MRI or PEM now, you may not understand the full extent of a cancer within the breast, and you may only excise part of it. This is a nice example here. We can see a cancer lighting up here in this patient's breast, the left side. And typically, with a cancer this size, the patient would qualify for a lumpectomy. Without having this scan, this is the only cancer seen on the mammogram. Because of the PEM, we find that the patient has an additional cancer in her breast, which most likely would have been left in the breast had the patient not had this preoperative study. We also found a 3rd lesion in a whole different area of the breast, very far away from the known cancer down here.
Dr. Robert Donaway, a surgical oncologist, was motivated by his own personal experiences with breast cancer to develop a novel cutting-edge technology called breast microendoscopy. The technique involves placing a small 0.5-millimeter fiber optic endoscope into the breast duct and threading that tiny scope through the ductal system as far as the chest wall. Then, with an almost microscopic brush, doctors can biopsy any suspicious area.
We can actually go in and find lesions at 0.1 or 0.2 millimeters, which implies that you're picking up and finding the lesion almost 4, 5, and sometimes 6 years before it can be detected with other techniques.
In honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, it's time to give back to the community. The local chapter of the Komen Foundation recognized its grant selections at a luncheon in West Palm Beach today. The Komen board had $1 million to donate to 13 area groups to provide breast services in our area. Barbara Piccirillo remembers the first time she noticed something wrong with her breast.
The area was red, inflamed, itchy, and Even putting like an antibiotic cream on it didn't help any.
Her doctor thought it was an infection, but warned her it could be inflammatory breast cancer.
The classic description is of a peau d'orange, which means the skin of an orange. It almost looks like the dimpled, kind of thickened, hardened skin of an orange. But sometimes it's very hard to distinguish just between a simple infection and cancer.
1 in 10 African American women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. But the 5-year survival rate is lower than it is for white women, due in part to detection at later stages and more aggressive breast cancers. The death rate for Haitian American women in particular is even higher than that of other African American women. That disparity was the focus of the recent seminar for the Haitian community.
As a woman who sees a lot of patients with breast cancer, it's very disheartening to see young women who develop breast cancer and don't get adequate care or have it be diagnosed late.
Today it's been 4 years since I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I'm a patient of Dr. McCain, and today she decided to do a seminar for the Haitian community for them to know about breast cancer.
The painting which greeted participants said it all: to save the lives of Haitian women.